Hello, this is John T. Rhapsodes Esquire, purveyor of awesome old-school audio stories, bringing you some satire today from 1867 called My Late Senatorial Secretaryship by America's favorite smart aleck, Mark Twain. Samuel Clemens, famously known as Mark Twain, walked the earth from 1835 to 1910. Coming into the world and leaving it with Halley's Comet. Hear the words of old. My Late Senatorial Secretaryship from 1867 by Mark Twain. I am not a private secretary to a senator any more now. I held the berth 2 months in security and in great cheerfulness of spirit. But my bread began to return from over the waters then. That is to say, my works came back and revealed themselves. I judged it best to resign. The way of it was this. My employer sent for me one morning tolerably early, and as soon as I had finished inserting some conundrums clandestinely into his last great speech upon finance, I entered the presence. There was something portentous in his appearance. His cravat was untied, his hair was in a state of disorder, and his countenance bore about it the signs of a suppressed storm. He held a package of letters in his tense grasp, and I knew that the dreaded Pacific mail was in. He said, "I thought you were worthy of confidence." I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "I gave you a letter from certain of my constituents in the state of Nevada, asking the establishment of a post office at Baldwin's Ranch, and told you to answer it, as ingeniously as you could, with arguments which should persuade them that there was no real necessity for an office at that place." I felt easier. "Oh, well, if that is all, sir, I did do that." "Yes, you did. I will read your answer for your own humiliation." Washington, November 24th. To Messrs. Smith, Jones, and others. Gentlemen, what the mischief do you suppose you want with a post office at Baldwin's Ranch? It would not do you any good. If any letters came there, you couldn't read them, you know. And besides, such letters as ought to pass through, with money in them, for other localities, would not be likely to get through, you must perceive at once. And that would make trouble for us all. No, don't bother about a post office in your camp. I have your best interests at heart, and feel that it would only be an ornamental folly. What you want is a nice jail, you know. A nice, substantial jail and a free school. These will be a lasting benefit to you. These will make you really contented and happy. I will move in the matter at once. Very truly, etc., Mark Twain. For James W. Blank, U.S. Senator. "That is the way you answered that letter," said the senator. "Those people say they will hang me if I ever enter that district again, and I am perfectly satisfied they will, too." "Well, sir," I said, "I did not know I was doing any harm. I only wanted to convince them." "Ah, well, you did convince them," said the senator. "I make no manner of doubt. Now, here is another specimen. I gave you a petition from certain gentlemen of Nevada, praying that I would get a bill through Congress incorporating the Methodist Episcopal Church of the state of Nevada. I told you to say, in reply, that the creation of such a law came more properly within the province of the state legislature, and to endeavor to show them that, in the present feebleness of the religious element in that new commonwealth, the expediency of incorporating the church was questionable. And what did you write? Washington, November 24th. To Reverend John Halifax and others. Gentlemen, you will have to go to the state legislature about that speculation of yours. Congress don't know anything about religion. But don't you hurry to go there either, because this thing you propose to do out in that new country isn't expedient. In fact, it is ridiculous. Your religious people there are too feeble in intellect, in morality, in piety, in everything, pretty much. You had better drop this. You can't make it work. You can't issue stock on an incorporation like that. Or, if you could, it would only keep you in trouble all the time. The other denominations would abuse it, and bear it, and sell it short, and break it down, like in the stock market. They would do with it just as they would with one of your silver mines out there. They would try to make all the world believe it was wildcat. You ought not do anything that is calculated to bring a sacred thing into disrepute. You ought to be ashamed of yourselves. That is what I think about it. You close your petition with the words, "and we will ever pray." I think you had better. You need to do it. Very truly, etc., Mark Twain. For James W. Blank, U.S. Senator. That luminous epistle finishes me with the religious element among my constituents, said the senator. But that my political murder might be made sure, some evil instinct prompted me to hand you this memorial from the grave company of elders composing the Board of Aldermen of the city of San Francisco, to try your hand upon a memorial praying that the city's right to the water lots upon the city front might be established by law of Congress. I told you this was a dangerous matter to move in. I told you to write a non-committal letter to the aldermen, an ambiguous letter, a letter that should avoid, as far as possible, all real consideration and discussion of the water lot question. If there is any feeling left in you, any shame, surely this letter you wrote, in obedience to that order, ought to evoke it when its words fall upon your ears. Washington, November 27. To the Honorable Board of Aldermen, etc. Gentlemen, George Washington, the revered father of his country, is dead. His long and brilliant career is closed, alas, forever. He was greatly respected in this section of the country, and his untimely decease cast a gloom over the whole community. He died on the 14th day of December, 1799. He passed peacefully away from the scene of his honors and his great achievements, the most lamented hero and the best beloved that ever earth hath yielded unto death. At such a time as this, you speak of water lots. What a lot was his! What is fame? Fame is an accident. Sir Isaac Newton discovered an apple falling to the ground. A trivial discovery, truly, and one which 1,000,000 men had made before him. But his parents were influential, and so they tortured that small circumstance into something wonderful. And lo, the simple world took up the shout, and, in almost the twinkling of an eye, that man was famous. Treasure these thoughts. Posy, sweet Posy, who shall estimate what the world owes to thee? Mary had a little lamb. Its fleece was white as snow, and everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was sure to go. Jack and Jill went up the hill to draw a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. For simplicity, elegance of diction, and freedom from immoral tendencies, I regard those two poems in the light of gems. They are suited to all grades of intelligence, to every sphere of life, to the field, to the nursery, to the guild. Especially should no board of aldermen be without them. Venerable fossils, write to me again. Nothing improves one so much as friendly correspondence. Write again, and if there is anything in this memorial of yours that refers to anything in particular, do not be backward about explaining it. We shall always be happy to hear your chirp. Very truly, etc., Mark Twain, for James W. Blank, U.S. Senator. That is an atrocious, a ruinous epistle. Distraction, said the senator. Well, sir, I said, I'm really sorry if there is anything wrong about it, but it appears to me to dodge the water lot question. Dodge the mischief, said the senator. Oh, but never mind. As long as destruction must come now, let it be complete. Let it be complete. Let this last of your performances, which I am about to read, make a finality of it. I am a ruined man. I had my misgivings when I gave you the letter from Humboldt, asking that the post route from Indian Gulch to Shakespeare Gap and the intermediate points be changed partly to the old Mormon Trail. But I told you it was a delicate question, and warned you to deal with it deftly, to answer it dubiously, and leave them a little in the dark. And your fatal imbecility impelled you to make this disastrous reply. I should think you would stop your ears if you were not dead to all shame. Washington, November 30. To Messrs. Perkins, Wagner, et al. Gentlemen, it is a delicate question about this Indian trail, but, handled with proper deftness and dubiousness, I doubt not we shall succeed in some measure or otherwise, because the place where the route leaves the Lassen Meadows, over beyond where those two Shawnee chiefs were killed last winter, this being the favorite direction to some, but others preferring something else in consequence of things, the Mormon Trail leaving Mosby's at 3 a.m. and passing through Jawbone Flat to Blutcher, and then down by Jug Handle, the road passing to the right of it, and naturally leaving it on the right, too, and Dawson's on the left of the trail where it passes to the left of said Dawson's, and onward thence to Tomahawk, thus making the route cheaper, easier of access to all who can get it, encompassing all the desirable objects so considered by others, and, therefore, conferring the most good upon the greatest number, and consequently, I am encouraged to hope we shall. However, I shall be ready and happy to afford you still further information upon the subject from time to time as you may desire it, and the Post Office Department be enabled to furnish it to me. Very truly, etc., Mark Twain. For James W. Blank, U.S. Senator. There. Now what do you think of that? Asked the senator. Well, I don't know, sir, I said. It appears to me to be dubious enough. Leave the house, said the senator. I am a ruined man. Those Humboldt people never will forgive me for tangling their brains up with this inhuman letter. I have lost the respect of the Methodist Church, the Board of Aldermen, and... Well, I haven't anything to say about that, I said, because I may have missed it a little in their cases. But I was too many for the Baldwin's Ranch people, General. Leave the house. Leave it forever and forever, too, the senator said. I regarded that as a sort of covert intimation that my service could be dispensed with, and so I resigned. I never will be a private secretary to a senator again. You can't please that kind of people. They don't know anything. They can't appreciate a party's efforts. And that concludes Mark Twain's 1867 story called My Late Senatorial Secretaryship. This is John T. Rhapsodies, Esquire, purveyor of awesome old-school audio stories. Thank you for listening. You can find more stories like this in the channel's playlists. Find them by staying tuned for the last 20 seconds of this video and clicking on the end-screen icons. You can also go to the channel homepage and click on the Playlist tab. If you enjoyed this story and would like to hear more, please help me earn the warm embrace of Mr. and Mrs. YouTubes who look with loving favor upon those channels whose listeners faithfully subscribe, like, comment, click the notification bell, and share the videos with their friends so that they too can hear the words of old.